Hello, sweetie.
Wait, who's Sweetie?
You're a handsome man, officer, with your mustache and your but dear, you're not for me.
In another time and place, she might have flirted.
You must forgive me. I'm getting so scatterbrained. I'm Lena. My husband Morel and I are staying with our friend Gary just down the street, but I come here.
This Lena is wacky enough for the motley crew. Hire her on the spot.
Whatever do you mean? Sequence killers? Oh my.
A partner who needs you to help him get a corpse down from a tree.
It seems to me that you lucked out with your partner. Yes, dear. I'm a paraplegic. That's quite all right. I'm used to people
There is no bitterness in her voice. She accepted the curiosity her condition inspires a long time ago.
Yes, officer. You look rather dazed. Like a
She won't judge you, no matter what you say.
You know where we are, right? That's right. And where is the Whirling in Rags cafeteria itself? Yes, indeed. We are in the fine city of... How would I even begin to tell you? Revachol. I haven't seen very many other cities personally, but everyone says so. Revachol is a rare jewel. This city used to rule the... Speaking of history, you know what year it is, yes? There. The year is 51, and spring is only...
The lieutenant studies you. I'm beginning to suspect that you might indeed be completely adrift in this reality, thinks the lieutenant. How can it be that bad? Never.
I can tell that this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government? Oh, no. Nothing.
She's trying to avoid the foreigner's part. This is because she's a woman. She may be lying to you.
Oh, dear. This is troubling. You really ought to know that, being one yourself. There aren't any cops in... But we should stop for today, sweetie. You look like you need a break.
She's scared now. She's realized you really are brain damaged.
A defeat, I'm afraid. It has something to do with everything.
I'm just a poor woman, she thinks. What do I know of these?
You didn't do too well, dear. It does look like you're having trouble
A sigh. The lieutenant...
But maybe a fresh set of eyes is what will work. Someone more educated in...
No, I'm not an answer.
Of course. Then I don't know. Someone Oh, sweetie, I heard your...
If she could, this woman would feed them. You've got guns of steel and a chiseled jaw somewhere under the bloated alcohol layer. Maybe she'd like to... Your deportment remains dignified as you shed a single manly tear.
Sweetie, I only have a few cents on me, but I could give you this to pawn.
Wonderful. He has a...
The pin is round and slightly tarnished. 3 sailboats in bas-relief with the sun hovering over the water behind them. A chipped green banner at the bottom reads, San Baptiste, Summer 31.
Cross the plaza and follow the road along the coast. Down by the water, there'll be a shack nestled against an old...
Yes, we've been there.
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab. You can pawn the...
Oh, it's not an ancient family heirloom or anything, but I suppose it would be nice to... I hope you're able to pawn that old trinket. Of course, dear. Of course.
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already? Attaboy. It's coming back to him. You had your mesolimbic reward pathway worried there, not thinking about drinking all that time. It was like you weren't yourself. Forget about the bar. Or don't forget about it. You should totally try to get a drink there too. But first, you should lick that stain. What happened, man? You used to... It would go well with those cigarettes. That's it. You see a heavy steel door with... You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for Miss...
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? Eccentric. But okay, I suppose we could look into it. As a...
He's not bothered by your eccentricity. He seems genuinely intrigued himself.
Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The cobalt blues, the door does not budge.
Can I help you? Mine? No, it...
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you keep the container?
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put...
I thought as much. And are you the only party who's accept...
Well, yes. Us and...
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you. Prod at him and find out.
What do you need them?
It concerns the case. Please go.
Just bring them back once you're done, please. What thing? Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a... No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been one... Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing. He looks at the dust on his finger and wipes it off.
Yes, not the whole... They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly.
He hates the Union, but grudgingly recognizes its power over him. So he's directing his frustration.
I don't. I'm simply providing a service already.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later.
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something
Whatever he may feel about you, he can't miss the opportunity to throw you a look of what he assumes is shared understanding.
They probably fucking killed that.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later. Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad banger, then we sing this place to shit. The door is closed. This door can only be...
Yes?
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spot. Someone has scribbled. You'll find the filament The note is...
Really? You don't have a single guess? Oh, I'm sure that child would love to.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots, anywhere from 6 to 12 pins. An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. This trash container is locked. The sliding lid, as with a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't. There is, but you won't like it. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
You see milk and egg rest. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are among the threadbare kitchen towels. Something catches as the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the...
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed. Drop them in here, officer. Guitar-marked blue jeans. Pockets empty. Or emptied. The belt is missing. That's it.
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive cut.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor.
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow...
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or...
The fuck's he on about? Kids? You hear that, Kuno?
See? Not really. Always...
The lieutenant nods. It's just organic. Nothing. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging.
Officer, is that your paperwork? It is. Look. The plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there. If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash? Boring. Try dangerous. You should do a thorough inventory of that. Be sure some has not fallen into the hands of the RCM's enemies, organized crime or worse. Official notes sometimes contain informants' names, even undercover operatives. It will also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Anyway, where were we?
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory.
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction, only in its... The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read? Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage? So again, it's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. Right. What more do you need? A rubber condom stuck to below the pathetics? Terror. Do not look into its blue hole. An aluminium block runs the width of the surface is interrupted by a...
What? That thing. It's a halogen watermark. We use it for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
How many years you've been on the force, he's thinking. It'll have that.
Any capable light with the right wavelength will... All RCM vehicles have headlights designed to reveal halogen watermarks. Mine...
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand, it's a sorry sight. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start.
He's down playing his... The dashboard lights up. The lights unfold with a little click, casting...
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. Two men in the middle of a broken plaza, illuminated in a cone of light. Two men, one slim.
Ah, Martinez at night. Let me see. Right here. It has its problems.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. Not bad for. The next is the longest. There are so many, it's hard to count. The last row has 3. That's it.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics.
Son, here is where we score your life performance.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? No shame in working a regular job, detective. This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90 years per... Call it what you want. You are a valuable... Right. Those are your confirmed kills.
Confirmed kills. That sounds pretty evil. A drink would soften that feeling.
For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the jam...
What's it feel like to kill a man, Mr. McCoy? A young woman. Honestly, babe, says John McCoy, crossing his ankles over said desk. I don't feel...
There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones.
He's sincerely glad you're not a scary predator. Not to say relieved you're competent.
Yes.
It's not a problem for him to state it, however.
Everyone has their own method. Personally, I find it helps to keep... Why not gardening? You've already got the glow.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab. The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page. To the right...
It's the ledger you found in the trash. They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, Case, work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases. There is, for precisely the tasks you've completed flow out of the pen in a brash inspect, interview the cafeteria, a satisfying slash, things to be done and things.
No, actually. Any ideas? Ah, yes. I have to tell you, officer, I don't appreciate ironic titles. Other officers, they're not going to get it. Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
Yes, it appears you... Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural, and others appear more light-hearted. The guys on... You like this grimy. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done.
Yes, how very childish of you. In your and my defense, almost everyone in the RCM. It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea. Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one, the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. I pray his loved one. Rail spiked through the head. He died.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now. In the back, you see thin, translucent copier paper. Some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms. 3. The topmost are misconduct fines. The middle ones are station call, a monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. These are quite sinister in turn. A dozen color of the irises. Yes, all that remains now. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. It's made of dark blue plastic. Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it. Something rattles inside. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli. There's pain in there, if you want some. With your hands, you 4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board. The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. You should take care of that, then. I'll also take a room at the Whirling. One cannot get much.
He's proud of you for getting your act together.
Can I help you? Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for. How strange. I certainly didn't put them there. The trash collection service? CS.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last.
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway. It stops by a rusted trash container. Two men, their faces rough.
Thank you anyway.
I think fugue states are more your forte, officer. Sylvie had the keys before I got here. Yes? Another thing. Great. Yes? Yes. Have you got it? Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have...
I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per...
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? Do I have a shaker in my hand?
He sounds irritated.
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling? Because I'm not a bartender. I'm a cafeteria manager. Is there any... Like what?
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic.
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically. Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down when we approached the hanged man, so we didn't even inspect the body. And there's still much to do at the crime scene, too.
He would have put all of this more harshly, but he doesn't want you to feel completely discouraged. Probably because he's afraid that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
It's not my job to evaluate your methodology. We weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow.